Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I'm your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. So today I'm out in the woods and today a serious topic and a question from a gentleman that I would really like to help. And I'm going to read this question directly, no levity here, this is seriousness today. And you'll understand why I sort of caveat today's video with that. So, I am not going to reveal the identity of the individual who has written to me with this question for obvious reasons. Neither am I going to tell you where they're from in the world. I'm just going to read it. This individual has written to me and they have said this. Right then, to the point, I would like some advice in dealing with depression and thoughts of ending oneself. And no, I'm not going to, I assure you. To give a bit of background in my life, I am approaching my mid-30s, currently the only one in my household employed. I am the backbone that is keeping a roof over our heads, that being my partner, my 2 children and 4 other in-laws. Throughout this time, you would figure that this would be a badge to wear proudly, a feather in the cap, if you will. However, it carries a heavy weight. Between having all of these responsibilities, I have people battling wars for my time. And win or lose, I will be the bad guy. I often feel as if I'm the child who's constantly grounded. So much so, I even feel chastised for having time to myself. I find it tremendously difficult to find joy in my old hobbies because happiness itself seems such a far cry from ever being a reality that I can't even define what it is anymore. It's almost as if happiness is a foreign object for me. The closest thing to happiness is a mask that I wear 90% of my working hours. And the passion that I once had in my teen years has long died. As a result, I feel hopeless, as if I have achieved entirely nothing. I cannot turn to my partner for addressing these issues because these issues are often overlooked and it turns into an irrelevant argument and nothing gets solved. With my employment, I cannot afford a therapist or psychologist. I have tried. This has unfortunately resulted in me taking a code of silence in my life to avoid further conflict and eat whatever insult, argument or financial hardship or sacrifice comes my way. I feel internally trapped in this dark abyss of my own thoughts that I don't know how to fix or make better. With the best of my efforts, how in this sense of minimal resources that are available can I figure a way to look at life more positively? It seems these days the only thing I'm able to indulge myself in is a decent meal that I have fixed for myself, and I let my mind go blank as I focus on nothing more than the medley of flavors. So there we go. What a tragic story from a gentleman out there right now facing the challenges of balancing a hard working life, a home life, and trying to eke out space for himself in the world ahead. Firstly, I would say to my correspondent here, thank you for reaching out, for sharing your story. It shows a tremendous amount of courage to be able to share such personally deep, challenging issues that you are going through. You are shouldering an incredible burden of responsibility in your family scenario, for sure. And it's entirely understandable that you are having the feelings that you are. It is important to remember that your feelings are very valid, sir. All right? The way you are feeling is perfectly normal. Many other people have felt something very similar during the course of their life journeys. And the fact that you have reached out today, you've written to me for some advice and some, observations from me, absolutely shows strength and not weakness, and there is no doubt about that at all. You are a strong man. My own life journey has had peaks and troughs, and this is how I often define mental well-being and the resilience that we all have to face the challenges of life. Life is, you've heard me saying this before, it is a sequence of peaks and troughs. There's no straight line for us. We're not that lucky. its ups and downs. And my life journey, for what it has been, I've experienced the highs and lows of life. Of course I have. I'm a married man. I've got children. I've got parents. I'm a person who's experienced everything. But besides my own personal experience, I've been in law enforcement for over nearly quarter of a century. So I met many people during the course of that long career who were facing crisis, challenges that they couldn't face, and they were overwhelmed. I have had to clean up situations where people have taken their own lives, when the darkness has become too much for them. And let me tell you, that is not a route any man should have to walk down. I can tell you, the aftermath is apocalyptic for everybody else in your life. So dispel that thought from your mind for a start. There are many better ways to go forward. In my journeys as a well-being trainer, so I work as a well-being trainer for a military charity, I teach mental resilience to people to overcome tough periods in their life, and I'll share some of the tricks I've discovered from that. And I'm a caseworker with a military charity, another charity, in which I've gone out and I have helped people overcome some difficult challenges in their life. And I've learned a few things. I've got some practical steps that you could consider employing in your current life journey, which may bring you some solace, some temporary respite, which will help you through the trough that you're going through. Because sure enough, right, you got to stick with it. There's likely to be a peak around the corner in your journey to Chap Nirvana. I assure you, there likely will be. Now, my first practical step for you is going to sound quite simplistic, but I would say set yourself some small, manageable goals as you head into each day of your life. Because life, when it becomes overwhelming, all right, when it becomes this massive Everest-sized mountain that you have to climb every day to get through it, focusing on small little goals can actually be all you need to get through today. Don't look at the big picture. Don't look at the vast life journey spiraling out in front of you to that unseen horizon. Look at the day ahead and focus on that. And it can be, right, something as simple as eking out 5 minutes for yourself today, tomorrow, and the days ahead. Just 5 minutes. You can find 5 minutes just to do something calming in your life. I'm sure you can, right? Even though life seems overwhelming, there's going to be 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes that you can steal out of the day and you can put it to use. Now that 5 minutes, you can put it into something which brings you calm. It could be reading. 5 minutes. 5-10 minutes, reading a book every day, escaping into the world of fiction. Another plateau of existence lies in a book. If you like fiction, if you like non-fiction, read a biography or an autobiography of somebody you know has gone through difficult challenges in their life. We all know the celebrities who have been there and got through it. Read what they have done, how they have done it. And even if you're only getting it in 5 to 10 minute bite-sized snippets a day, these will add up over the course of a week. It mounts up to quite a bit of time. Those 5 minutes reading can bring you calm and peace and pleasure. And I'm not just talking about reading. It could be music. If music is what calms the beast in your life, listen to the music. Classical music, country music. I'm not judging. Listen to what you like. If it brings you down, brings the blood pressure down, puts the mind in a different place, all of these things work for you. Anything which has a little quality time and can be that little goal that you're focusing on today. So if you're setting out with a difficult day ahead, say to yourself, right, I'm gonna get 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and I'm gonna read my book and I'm gonna listen to music. Or just sit quietly and reflect and let your mind, sort of click the gear lever into neutral for a moment, dispel thoughts. Call it meditation, whatever you like to call it. Clear your mind, relax, 5 minutes. Practical step, small goal, not a hard one. You can do it. Now, my next little practical thing that I would say to you, you could think about in your life is, for God's sake, have a bit of self-compassion here. You're being very hard on yourself, I think. You know, you are shouldering this huge amount of responsibility, and it's a heavy weight to bear. But just for a moment, think to yourself, what have you done? You've done so remarkably well in your life. You are holding a family together. You are the linchpin in this family, this orbital family around you. 3 different generations are being supported by you. You, sir, are the head lion in your pride that you are looking after, protecting, taking forward, feeding, clothing, educating. I think you need to just take a moment to reflect on what a magnificent achievement that you are putting into each day, and revel in the fact that what you are doing. Look at the role model that you are demonstrating to your children, that they are looking up and seeing their father going out to work, sustaining the family with his toil, coming home. You say you enjoy cooking. You are feeding them, putting food on the table in front of them. What a magnificent role model for children to see the head of their family, the lion of their pride, the alpha that is looking after them all. Just think of that. Reflect upon what you have done, keeping this family unit together, going through tough times. I think, sir, you underplay your role in the unit, and just take a minute to think to yourself, look at what I'm doing. Look at the success that I'm bringing to my family. Yes, sometimes you have to shoulder these difficult, this weight of responsibility, but the payback is in what you're achieving. And I think just a little bit of self-compassion. Refocus what you're doing here, rather than being a challenge which is too hard to bear. Think of it as a challenge which is yielding such positivity to the family unit at the moment. Of course, you know, nothing is permanent. Every situation we face in life is transient. Soon, something will change. You know, your situation will alter. But right now, reflect upon this magnificent Herculean effort that you are doing for your family. And as we all credit what you're doing as great, refocus your own thoughts and just accept that praise and that amazing achievement yourself. Now, another thing that you might choose to explore, which might help you. Now, you said that your financial situation doesn't allow you the freedom to go out there and seek out, psychiatrists or therapists, or, I'm not even averse of what is available. There are other avenues of support which are definitely available within your means. There are free and low-cost mental health support groups which can be there to help you. Now, I'm not saying where you are in the world, but if you are in the United Kingdom, for instance, there are groups. I went to one last year, a group called Talk Club, which is a nationwide group here in the UK. And Talk Club is for men. Men go to these groups. I went to one last year. We all sat around a table. At the head of the table was our talk captain, who asked us a number of predetermined questions that we ask every week in Talk Club, and it allowed us all to vent our situations, our frustrations, our unhappiness, our difficulties in an environment full of supportive other men who are there to help and offer support just through presence. Now, Talk Club is a UK thing. There'll be other things like that wherever you may find yourself in the world. Do you know, just the other day, I was away working from home, actually being a well-being trainer. I was walking down the high street of a town that I'd not been to before, and on the side of a bus stop, I saw a poster up advertising a thing called Andy's Man Club, which was a men's suicide prevention charity, which provide a similar thing to Talk Club in other parts of the country. Look deeply into what your community provides for people who need a little bit of extra help if they're facing tough mental challenges in life. Although it's a very, very dark place you may be in right now, remember there are folks there who've been there before. They've got out the other end. They are there to support you, to help you, to give you the nudge in the right direction, to shine the torch, to lead the path for you to the other side of the dark area that you may find yourself in right now. There may be other charities, support groups, community centres nearby, where there will be groups which are their peer support groups. Men, in the UK, we have these things called men in sheds, right? Where chaps go and hang out together and they do a bit of woodworking, whatever it is they do. I've never been to one, but it's a peer support group. The actual activity they undertake is immaterial. They're there together, mutual support. So there are many people who've been there before you who can help you out, and it doesn't have to cost anything. So even though you've maybe excluded professional support, think about the low cost or even free support groups who are there who can help. Now, another thing you might consider doing is just simply rediscovering some moments of joy in your life which have been lost. Because as we go through life, we get buried under the weight of responsibilities. As we progress, as we get older, we may have children who are utterly dependent upon us. We have elderly parents who at one point, we were dependent on them. Now they are dependent on us. And there are others in the wider group that we may support. Even siblings who may need our help, friends. And our moments of joy get buried under these responsibilities. A mountain, an avalanche, which seems to slip from nowhere. And all of a sudden, all you seem to do is work, sleep. And you lose those little chinks of light in your life. But I suggest, why not having a refocus for a moment? Look back to the things that you did in your teen years. You made mention of your teenage years. And think about the things that brought you joy. And see if you can reintroduce them into your life. It's not about going out and finding something new. Let's just look back and find what worked for us in the past and see if it will work again. It might be going to the cinema, if you can find that time. Maybe once a week or a fortnight to see a movie on your own. It might be, as I say, reading a book. I mean, when I was a young kid, I used to love making model aeroplanes, right? Airfix aeroplanes. They were my joy and passion. I forgot about it when I reached my later teens and I became, cool and started to go out to pubs and bars. But you know what? Many years later, I found myself in the armed forces, living overseas, no internet in those days, no television, nothing to occupy my time. I found myself revisiting making models. I actually made model Formula 1 cars because that gave me a positive outlet to put my time into, and it allowed me time to let my mind go blank when I was doing something which was enjoyable and simply something to just invest myself in. So why not look back to the things that brought you pleasure in your life and see if they can work again for you? Albeit you might have only a small amount of time, but something you can invest little bite-sized efforts in can bring you that joy maybe all over again. Now, my last little tip for you really is to try and find a small area of sanctuary in your life. I tell you how it works. I'm right there right now. Right, for me, I've got this shed in the woods that I have access to. I come up, I light a little fire, I sit here and I relax. Sometimes I bring a book, sometimes I just sit here and allow nature to wash over me as the seasons change. This could work for you. Now, I'm not saying you've got to have a shed in the woods. For you, it might be being able to take a 5-minute walk during your lunch break in work, or maybe there'll be a moment in the day that you can eke out to get out on your own. I often go for a walk around my village in the mornings before my day starts proper. It might even be dark sometimes, but I'm out feeling the seasons on my skin. It reminds me that life continues and goes on, whatever situation I'm facing. Your small sanctuary might even be a corner of your house. Go and sit by the window, look out on the world, have a cup of coffee in that moment of peace that you can find for yourself. Or it could be gardening. You go out in the garden, do something. Just quiet, reflective time with no madness going on around you. The kids, the partner, the parents, all trying to grab moments of your time. A small little sanctuary. It doesn't have to be, a hut in the woods. For you, it could be something as simple as a corner of your house that you can just have 5 minutes. Lock the door when you go in the bathroom and have a shave in the morning. 5-10 minutes of, wet shave time. All your own. The mind is yours. Let it range wherever you want it to go. But little sanctuaries, your safe space, can be a useful place for you to go, maybe when you need to collect your thoughts away from the frenetic energy of life. So I've given you a few practical things you can do there. But one thing in general, I think, which may be beneficial, is to just try and refocus your outlook on positivity. You're probably trapped in a bit of a negative mindset right now, and it's so hard when you're in that zone to shift the gears into a positive mindset. For me, it's really hard. Those small daily things that I've suggested, those little victories, can boost morale. One thing I do actually is use a journal, to write down how I'm feeling. And every day in my journal, there are 2 little entries at the very bottom. Best part of the day, worst part of the day. And I put a single line entry. Best part of the day, saw an old friend in the street, had a quick chat. Worst part of the day, didn't have time to think. When I reflect upon, and just by writing it down, it'll make you think, what was the best part of my day? And you write it, and then it reminds you, I did have an up moment today. There was a period of my day for 5 minutes where I was actually quite cheerful, talking to a buddy, haven't seen for a while, caught up with them, learned they were doing well, made me feel good. And the worst part of the day, well, I didn't have much time, maybe tomorrow will be better. You can find some positivity in every situation if you go looking for it. But if you go looking for negativity, you will find it everywhere. So you can just shift the mindset into positive for a little while. It may be beneficial. It works for me to have a journal, because sometimes writing my thoughts and my emotions and my feelings down on a page lets me get rid of them, purge them, push them out of my body and write them down. And sometimes just doing that can get rid of it, and it makes me feel that little bit better. And I'm going to end now by saying to you, thank you again for writing to me. It shows your strength of character that you are here to win this battle. What I would remind you is you are not alone. There's not a man, one of us here today, who hasn't gone through dark periods in our life, whatever that was caused by. It could have been caused by personal ill health, the ill health of others, bloody awful jobs, situations, deteriorating relationships. We've all been there. It's one of the burdens we have to face on our life journeys. We've all found ourselves in a similar situation. But there are people out there who care for you, who love you, who want to see you do well. There are people, I am proud that you are achieving what you are, making your family succeed in life by your endeavors. Your sacrifice is feeding people, looking after people, clothing people. That is not something to be overlooked. Remember what I said, sir. You are the lion in your pack. It is something to be enormously proud of, and you've achieved so much. Perhaps connecting to others in your community who have also been on a journey like this could be a route that you may wish to take. Go looking for those who can offer you help. And whilst I can only offer you my words, my thoughts, I'm not a professional. You deserve somebody who can give you a bespoke approach to make your life a better place. So I suggest, please, sir, reach out. Yes, dark times come, but dark times go. Peaks and troughs. Don't forget, there's a peak around the corner. Even if you're at the bottom of a trough, there is positivity, because from that point on, we start to go upwards. We're heading towards a peak. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you will have found some solace, some hope in what I have said today. For all of you others out there watching, if you've enjoyed this, give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Ask me a question. Uncle Ash can only offer you my thoughts and my ideas here, my observations. But if you want to tap into my life journey and hear what I've got to say, ask those questions. Drop me an email. I'm the only person who reads the emails. You only get my response, nobody else. Do so. Don't forget, you can also support the channel by buying me a coffee or becoming a patron. Patrons get extra videos and a personal dialogue with me. I've got several Zoom meetings arranged with my patrons in the week ahead, and it's only for a tiny monthly fee you can get on board with that community, which may help you on your journey. The link to that is in the show notes below. So until the next time, enough from me. I'll see you again soon. Take care.